Flashtime.
Yeah, I got so aggressive putting these headphones on. All right.
Skis on.
I got my skis on. Last episode we talked about Detroit in general, but I can't believe I forgot to talk about Model 57.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty cool. First time a lowrider on the first floor set up with all the grade 8.
Yeah, in the first lineup.
Yeah, it was a 20 by 20. So if you guys don't know, Model 57 is a 57 Bel Air painted by Freddie Liao, the Liao brothers out of Texas, covered in tropical glitz with our candy violet and our candy purples. The car's been in the circuit for a while.
A couple of years, I think, yeah.
And it was pretty awesome to see the car in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And
everybody loving it.
Yeah, a whole different atmosphere because obviously that car gets toured in the lowrider scene. To see it at a hot rod scene at the quality, because that car is a great car.
Yeah, it is.
It was pretty awesome. And we forgot to mention it completely at the last podcast.
There was a lot to talk about, so.
Well, if we talk about every car, it'll be a 3-hour podcast.
Probably more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So, was there any other cars that we missed that we didn't talk about from the last one?
Well, we didn't talk about the orange Corvette, for the Riddler.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of cars there. I recommend you go on YouTube. I'm sure there's videos of walkarounds of that show that people can watch and admire the cars a little better than our boring critiques.
Well, we went to Detroit, we went to Autorama, and we also got a chance to visit a couple museums. And there was a museum that was pretty phenomenal.
Phenomenal is an understatement, in my opinion.
So last year, before we talk about this one, last year we went to, what was the museum we went to?
Went to the Gilmore.
Gilmore, that's an amazing museum. We didn't document that because at that time we weren't doing what we're doing now, excuse me. But I documented this one. What's the name of this museum?
This is the Stahl. If you look it up, it's the Stahls Automotive Museum or the Stahls Automotive Foundation.
So what's pretty cool is that we got lucky. This thing only opens.
It only opens on Tuesdays and then the first Saturday of every month. And we were fortunate enough that we were there on the first Saturday of the month and we were able to visit.
So something that was interesting, because when we were at the Gilmore, a lot of these cars are on loan, just like the Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in this building is a person's private collection.
Yeah, Mr. Stahl, I'm assuming.
You think so?
Yeah.
What happens if it's not Mr. Stahl?
And I said I'm assuming. I don't know. It could be a Mrs. Stahl.
Oh, how about it's not even a Stahl at all? We'll find out. We'll fact check this.
Maybe.
But so this is the music room.
This is an incredible collection of old music boxes that are coin op, and that was the entertainment back in the 20s, teens, 20s. Put in your nickel or penny or whatever it was, and start grooving away to those classical tunes from the 1920s.
What's crazy, violin, an automatic. So I read.
Yeah. So there was one with 2 violins, and then there was 2 other ones with singles. So yeah, I'll let you, since you read about it, let me look up the Stahl thing.
So I read it. So that one right there is actually for boats. And then what it has is it has a counterweight. So as the boat is rocking side by side, it's actually collecting kinetic energy for it to continue to play. So I thought that was actually pretty awesome. There was so much to record there. It was, and obviously I'm not an antique or a music guy, but the craftsmanship and the engineering, some of this stuff was like the late 1800s, early 1900s. The violin music box was, I think, 1918, 1917. And when you watch the full video, I think we're going to end up putting just a banjo. We're going to put this like as a full walkthrough, most probably, right? To a degree on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm reading the stuff. Now, it was hard to read everything because every once in a while, these pieces of equipment, these instruments will actually turn on and play music at whatever the volume was. So yeah. I'm reading the stuff, and you couldn't hear.
This up later.
Yeah, you couldn't hear me, but phenomenal. That right now is playing music.
So I just Googled it. I don't want to cut you off, but I am gonna.
That's fine.
It's when you Google it, it comes out as Stahls Automotive and Music.
Oh.
So that is big part of history. So I couldn't see who is the owner because it was too quick. But
Yeah. No, we'll find out. But if you're, and you know what? This is completely free. This is a free museum.
yeah, that was the most mind blowing part. We've been to really terrible museums that charge you.
Yeah. We're not gonna say any names, but you know.
We're not gonna say any names, but it was deadly.
That was in California. That one I know. That one. That was in California. That was a good. Well, how much was that museum we went there? Like $30?
$20 or $30.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah. Well, a good way to piss money away.
So in that case, there were some Tiffany lamps, some automatons from the 1890s to the 1920s, some those little bird music boxes, and some old toys in it.
But amazing quality. Like
the condition.
The condition. Let me rephrase. These, besides being as old as they are, it wasn't just like old and then beat up. It was like old, like if it came out of the box. Some of the stuff was just in amazing condition. Yeah. Look at 1901 Winston, if I'm not mistaken. It's, dude, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. When you go into the main showroom,
imagine being the guy that has to fix that.
So that was pretty cool. So I zoomed in on this. That paper on top is all punched holes, and that's actually
that's the music.
That's the music right there.
Yeah. Imagine if that gets wrinkled up.
Well, you know what I was gonna say? A paper jam on my. I always struggle with paper jams on my printer. Imagine that.
Yeah. It's from the 1920s.
Yeah, 1922. It was just, dude. It was, and everything was perfect.
It was, in my opinion, the best museum I've ever been to, as far as quality.
Yes. Yes. For sure.
And the little music room was a cool experience because it's not something you see usually in an automotive museum. It's something that you would see maybe in a, I don't know, in a like a historical museum, but you might see one.
Wait,
you won't see 20.
Let me interject here. So the cars that are in display, these are all the awards his cars have. So there's some Concours Elegance awards there. First place in different. So he besides owning these amazing cars that are rare,
they're shown.
That's
Pebble Beach right there.
Yeah. So what was another thing?
Multiple Pebble Beach.
Oh, he has quite a bit, and that's what he has on display. I can only imagine the stuff he doesn't have on display because this museum is only a fraction of what he really owns, right?
I believe we were told it was not even half.
Not even half
of what he owns, and it's very impressive.
Yeah, he has. You know, while we were there, he had a couple cars here, right? Two or three.
He had 3 cars at Moto Miami. I think 2 early electric cars from probably the 1890s or the early 1900s, and he had 1 not electric car very early.
Yeah. Yeah, what's up, Top G? Electric car? Yeah, electric cars have been around forever.
He had like a... I think he had a Baker on display.
Don't think Tesla invented electric cars. Yeah. Electric cars have been around forever.
So if you look up Baker electric car, it's not that they got popular out of nowhere. Is that there's a lot of environmental activists now, and they think that they're doing something good for the world with electric cars.
So
that's another episode.
Yeah. So check this out. You see those horns on top? So he has pneumatic instruments all plumbed together across the whole building. And at certain times while we were there, they just randomly start playing music.
And they usually start playing at the most inopportune time. Yeah. So like in the middle of a conversation.
But just to give you, look at all the flags, look at all the neon signs. I mean, it was a little overwhelming because I didn't know which way to point the camera because there was so much great stuff besides the cars themselves. They had banjo. It was super impressive, to be honest with you. Like that gas globe right there, the flags, the signs, and they were all just fun. Like I say the word phenomenal too much. I'm gonna have to pick up a new word. Incredible, spectacular, fantastic,
mind blowing.
Yeah. I'll find a better word. Mind blowing is cool, but I want something with more pizzazz.
Blew your socks off.
There you go.
Like I walked in there, my socks disappeared. It was crazy.
Bro, It was awesome. So in a little bit, if you start scrubbing through the video, Manny, I'll start walking around because I think I kind of stood there just figuring out which way to go. They had a bunch of brass cars, and the brass cars were, I mean.
So we mentioned it while we were there. We've gone to many car museums and collections, and
we're still missing a lot. One of my things to go is that wherever I'm in a state, God bless you.
Yeah.
Wherever I'm in a state, I want to visit.
So what I was saying before I was really interrupted by that cough, sneeze, or whatever it was. We go into a lot of collections and we see a lot of stuff, and we see a lot of cars that are thrown together with the sole purpose of props for people to take photos of or whatever the case may be. This wasn't the case at this museum. This was somebody's private collection that they are fortunate enough to show off. And I don't mean it like showing off. I mean like they have the opportunity to show it to the public so other people can enjoy it. These are not cars that are just thrown together to show people. These are amazing quality cars that are kept in museum standards. Like they're incredible. All these cars look like if you sit in them, they are turnkey. Like, these aren't cars that are just there.
This is a fire truck, and this fire truck, I looked at this. Everything is perfect on it. Besides the paint, the brass, the bolts. And we got the privilege to speak to one of the mechanics that the guy is a genius.
Yes.
In my personal opinion, young guy, I think he's 30.
He's in his mid-30s. We'll talk to him one day.
Yeah. Did he answer you?
But today they're open.
Oh, okay.
It's Tuesday, so.
Yeah, we were trying to get him on an interview, but he looks like he's 21.
Yeah, he looks like he's 15, but.
Yeah.
When he started talking to us, and he was telling us that he was one of the mechanics, I was like, this guy's 12. Like,
yeah,
how can he be a mechanic here? And he told us he's in his mid-30s. I'm like, that's 30. Why he looks so good, because he's enjoying what he does every single day. This dude is living his dream, and it's pretty awesome that he gets to be and do his dream job. Yeah,
totally. And I mean, these cars don't have books. Like this car right now that we're looking at, it's a
La France fire truck.
What was the value of that La France back in its time?
$10,000.
Was it 10 grand?
10,000 in 1930 something.
So it's the equivalent of
1915.
Yeah, and it's the equivalent of like 200K.
It would have been like a $300,000 car today. With inflation or whatever, but that doesn't translate to the collectability. It's just what you would expect to see at a car dealership or at a fire truck.
This was just and everything. Yes, sir.
I sent you a text. Take a look at that. If you want to read that.
Let's see.
It's the story a little bit about the.
Oh, okay. Manny doesn't want to read it?
No, I can't read anything, bro. I'm illiterate.
Okay. Born and raised just outside Detroit, the Motor City, Ted Stahl, a successful entrepreneur, business owner, and inventor. He had always been a collector of antique mechanical items, tractors, farm tools, and bicycles, with an eye for outstanding design and a deep appreciation for a beautiful craftsmanship. In 1995, Ted purchased a 1930 Ford Model A Roadster Deluxe. The Model A was a way for Ted and his wife, Mary Stahl, to share this appreciation with the children. They spent many hours rebuilding the engine, tinkering with the transmission, polishing and bringing back the car to its former glory. It was just the beginning of the family's love affair with classic cars. The Stahl family passion for motor car design has grown into one of the nation's premier collections of vintage vehicles and automotive memorabilia.
It's a fact. Without a doubt, this collection is mind-blowing. And then all the accessories, like that whole wicker setup.
Yeah,
like,
that's basket.
With the trailer, and you can tell it's all period correct.
So we go back to the quality. Like, the quality of the way he has everything, and he was able to get his collection together and build such a beautiful collection. It's mind-blowing.
Look at this little trailer. I put in the camera in there, and it's hard to believe someone would wash, like travel and take a shower and the whole 9 yards just like that in that era.
What's awesome is I don't want to interrupt you, but
No, go ahead.
What's very cool in a situation like this is that he doesn't charge.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, when guys have collections like this, they're very private.
Yes.
The collections are closed. Like some of these cars would have never seen the public, or the public would have never seen the cars. And not only does he have the collection open for people to see to the public, but he shows these cars.
Yeah. And you said it. What happens is people won't show this, and it's crazy. He doesn't have rope. You can walk in between these cars.
He wants you to experience the cars. I mean, you should respect the fact that they're not yours.
Correct.
You shouldn't touch them. You shouldn't open the doors. But it's nice that you can get up close and personal with cars that, in a normal circumstance, you'll never be able to see
Up close like that, because
like he has a Duesenberg there that, in a regular situation, you would never see that. It's a very high dollar, rare car, and he has it there for you to almost get in it. You know, like the Delahaye is right in the middle with no barriers, no nothing.
we're gonna get right back to the podcast, but this is that free commercial plug. And today we're talking about one of my favorite vendors, drip-art.com. These guys are making all our panels, and I love it. I'm going to show you a couple cool panels. So if you guys don't know, on our website, we're selling panels, and it's been awesome. So they have made us a cool backer. This is our Tropical Glitz sticker that we sell, our oversized slaps, and they made an actual backer for it with a hand tag for the El Amante. And as paint dries, they made a same thing, a perfect backer. So if you don't want to put this sticker anywhere in your shop because you're worried once you put it, you have to move it, you can actually put this on your wall, hang it, and make your shop look dope with Tropical Glitz. So guys, if you don't know, check out www.drip-art.com. Tell Jose that Manny from Tropical Glitz sent you. This is your one-stop shop for everything that has to do with art supplies, custom panels, stencils, and I even hear him working on spray cans. So guys, check them out. So give our viewers a little insight. What's a Delahaye? If they're not
Delahaye, I believe, is a French-built car.
Mm-hmm.
Coach-built. Absolutely incredible. That's like the pinnacle of luxury.
Okay, explain coach built, because not everybody understands.
So a coach built car. Well, so let's take it to a Duesenberg then, because the Duesenberg is an American car. You would go to the Auburn Cord Duesenberg dealership, and you'd say, I want a Duesenberg, whatever, and then they'll give you a list of coach builders. The coach builders are the guys that build the bodies for you. So each coach builder had their style, had their design cues. You'd go into the dealership, you'd buy the chassis and the motor, and then from there it would go to the coach builder, and then the coach builder would build it.
Build the body and the interior.
Yeah, so you wouldn't go to the dealership and see like a freshly brand new Duesenberg.
Yeah.
You would go and have one.
So these cars were the ultimate of luxury.
Oh, for sure.
And the most expensive cars you can get.
Yeah, so if you had a Duesenberg back in the 30s, you were doing okay.
So think about, like, let's say in the 60s, right? Mm-hmm. You buy a car and it said body by Fisher, like Cutlasses. They were in the even up to the 80s, they said body by Fisher, because that was who made the accessories.
So Fisher designed a lot of the stuff for
General Motors.
Yeah.
But the coach building was a whole different avenue.
Yeah.
So people that aren't familiar with these cars, what are they worth?
So if you get the right Duesenberg, is a couple $1 million.
$2 million, $3 million, $4 million.
So there's $1 million ones, there's $5 million ones. That depends on motor. That depends on the coach builder. There's some coach builders that there's only 2 or 3 known to exist. There's some that are 10 known to exist.
Okay.
The more rare they are, the more valuable they are. That's a real Bugatti. So, I mean, that to me, I don't know what the market is on that car, like off the top of my head, but if a modern Bugatti is 2-3 million,
what's a vintage Bugatti?
That car has to be worth 4-5 million, in my opinion. Maybe it's worth a little less, maybe it's worth a little more, but it's definitely in the 7 figures.
It's just awesome. And then it's funny because here, this is the other side of the building, and we're just talking about it. We're recapping on everything. And then in the background, you see that musical instrument there. That's I'm lost for
organ.
And but he had 4 of them.
Yeah, well, 2. 2 big ones and 1 small one.
No, there was 2 small ones too.
Are you
That
sure?
one, yeah. And it's crazy. All wood. They found it in France and they restored it, and it's restored to the T's.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Everything hand painted on it, gold sizing,
Yeah, it's
and then
incredible.
they anodized it in different colors. The workmanship is
It's
awesome.
Well, it made to look like it was brand new in the 20s.
Yeah. No. Here you're telling me, because I was just lost for words.
I'm blown away at that collection. Like I said, we go to a lot of places. We see a lot of cars. We go to auctions. We see so much. The quality of these cars are on another level. And my hat's off to the Stahl family for being able to put this together.
The fact that they do what they do for free, and especially people like ourselves that can appreciate every aspect, the cars, the music, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you guys. If you ever get a chance to see this podcast, thank you guys. We really appreciate
Yeah,
what
you probably
do.
won't see it, but we were in awe of the
Yeah.
collection.
And they also have a YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken, and I think it's called Stahl. I took a picture of it here. Stahl, I think Automotive Museum or Automotive Art, or I don't know. But
And so a lot of the people there, I think most of the people there were volunteers.
oh no, everybody's a volunteer except
Well, the mechanic isn't, and I think there's one or two other people maybe, but
correct.
even the volunteers were super nice, answering questions if we had any, and always with a smile on their face. Usually you go to one of those places and the old people are just sitting in a little corner, all bitter. But as you walked by, everybody was super nice. It was definitely an experience for sure, and it was well worth the visit. I'm glad we went to that.
Oh, this car was interesting. Driver sits on one side. You have someone in the back.
Yeah.
The motor's in the middle. That was just an interesting car to begin with.
So if your wife complains about sometimes smelling like gas,
This would be-
that would be a killer for sure.
Yeah. Oh, this 442 was gorgeous. But now, I'm obsessed with the car that I walk around now in a little bit. There's a yellow Hudson
Mm-hmm.
that I told you, bro, this car's gorgeous. I would buy one right now. That same year, convertible. The car was put so well together. And you told me they're not that bad.
No, they're not that bad. They're not that pricey as long as you find the right one and you're patient to look.
You know, I'm looking for the picture of...
So that's another thing that's really cool about this collection. Yes, they have a multi-million-dollar Duesenberg in there, a couple of Auburns, a Delahaye, a Bugatti, and they have these one-of-a-kind, very rare brass air cars. But they also have a normal, I say normal because it's something more common, the convertible olds, the 442 or a little Mustang Coupe or a little VW. The collection is so diverse and there's something for everybody at that collection. If you like a horse-drawn carriage, there's a horse-drawn carriage. If you like a multi-million-dollar Duesenberg, there's a multi-million-dollar Duesenberg. And I think there's a lot of collections that they focus so much on like the really rare, cool, whatever, but not everybody knows what that is and not everybody cares. They rather see a car that they grew up with, which this museum has something for everybody.
Listen, this Hudson Hornet is gorgeous. You don't see a lot of these. You don't see a lot of Hudson cars.
No, well, you definitely don't see a lot of Hornets.
Who made Hudson Hornet?
Hudson.
Hudson, right? They went out of business when?
I don't know, bro.
Oh, I don't know. I'm asking
Come
you.
on, Javi.
No, because like Packard went out of business. Packard's made great cars too.
Yeah, so I don't know, bro. Packard bought out Studebaker,
Okay, that's what it is.
and then I don't know when Packard closed. I mean,
I
I
wasn't
can't
sure.
remember every single thing.
No, but you're a lot more
because I
versed
enjoy
than
it,
I am.
so I'm sure I read it somewhere at one point. And yes, I do read sometimes.
Yeah, all right.
I'm sure I researched it at one point and I just forgot.
Let me interject here real quick. This is the other half of the musical instruments. So you see a bunch of black pipes connected to it. It wraps around the whole building, and it's awesome.
So fun fact, the way the mechanic that we met them
Mm-hmm.
was that the mechanic of the instrument was fixing the instrument,
Pause that real quick, Banjo.
and he told the
I want
he told the owner, it's like, hey, I have a guy that the story is something like this. Maybe I'm messing it up a little bit, but it was like, oh, I have a young guy that he works on these pneumatic instruments.
Uh-huh.
Like he can work on it, and he's also a good mechanic. So then the guy, it gave the mechanic the opportunity to approach him and be like, hey, you know, are you guys looking for an apprentice or whatever? The mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
He did one summer of an apprenticeship.
Oh yeah, I remember that he said it.
And then they called him back for the second apprenticeship, and then they asked him if he just wanted to stay there full time. And now he's one of the 2 full-time mechanics, which he says that the other guy's an older gentleman, which is normal in a situation like this.
Of course.
So he'll probably end up being the main mechanic one day, which is pretty awesome.
I sent a picture of the banjo of the mechanic. We'll go into more of a deep conversation about the mechanic, but I wanted to talk about this car real quick here. Manny, can you rewind it a little bit? So I've seen 3 of these cars in person.
And this all in Detroit.
Yeah, but now this one, no, not in Detroit. One is at Peterson.
Then you've seen 4.
Oh, we've seen 4. So this is...
Because we saw one at the Gilmore.
Okay.
We saw one at the Ford Museum.
You're right.
There's one at the Peterson. And there's one here.
So, how many of these...
3 in the Peterson. I'm sorry, 3 in Detroit.
This is in our private collection. This is... Go ahead. You want to talk about this one?
No, you can talk about it.
This is a turbine car.
Mm-hmm.
It burns everything. Anything combustible. Could be gasoline, obviously. Perfume. Rubbing alcohol. Anything that's flammable, it would actually run on. So, it wasn't this... This was a prototype car, right?
I don't think it was a prototype per se, because there's a few of them. Let me look it up real quick here.
This car was in immaculate shape, because the one in Ford shows a little wear and tear. This car is just in pristine. And then on top of that, this guy actually has all the accessories, dealer accessories, you see. And on top of that, he has an actual motor in the corner, like a dealer demo motor. That's their YouTube channel right there, Manny.
So here you go.
Go ahead.
The Chrysler turbine car was a 2-door hardtop coupe manufactured from 1963 through 1964 with a gas turbine engine. Only 55 were ever made, with 5 prototypes and 50 for public testing. The turbine car was designed by Elwood Engel and Chrysler Studios, and the Italian design studio Carrozzeria Ghia built the bodies.
Great car. I mean, the styling on the car is
So
gorgeous.
it says here, the fuel. The turbine car could run on almost any fuel, including cooking and heating oil, but leaded gasoline caused damage. 3-speed torque flight transmission, power steering, and power brakes. All cars had the same metallic turbine bronze paint color, similar to like a root beer. And then the fate of it was Chrysler didn't widely release the car and continued researching the turbine engine. So only 9 of the 55 cars remain, and only 3 still run. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that that's probably one of the 3.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
I would love to be there for them
So-
to turn it on and run it.
So
Well-
they've taken it. I don't know if it's this one, but they've taken some of them to these concourse shows, and they've started them, and they sound like a jet.
Wait, but hold on. They say there's only 4 in existence right now?
No. There is
3 that run. Oh, pause that. That's a Tucker. We're going to talk about that. That's a real cool car. Even rare, that Tucker.
So it doesn't say how many are. It says, only 9 of the 55 remain. And of the 9, 3 still run. Now,
So 9 cars. So we've seen 4 already.
we've seen 4 of the 9.
I wonder where the
So
other
now the other ones are probably in private collections, or in other museums. Remember, there's a lot of car museums all over.
Yeah.
It says only 9, but that's only 9 that people know of. There could be 1 or 2 in some barn somewhere.
That's true. Yeah.
Those are 9 that are accounted for. It doesn't mean that there's only 9.
Yeah, of course. Out of
Just
49,
9 that are out there that
out
people
of 50,
know.
there has to be one floating around. So,
Sorry.
no, go ahead to the next. Not the next one. Play again. So this is a Tucker. This is the nicest Tucker I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was absolutely by far the nicest Tucker.
Over restored. I even say in the video, nothing wrong with an over restoration, but this car is immaculate. Tucker, and its time, was the safest car with seat belts from factory, padded dash. The center light would turn. There's a whole movie about Tucker and why that didn't really pan out. It was its own manufacturer. Power steering, power locks, like this.
So you want me to read this real quick?
Please.
Okay. The Tucker 48, which is what we're looking at right now. is a fastback sedan produced in 1948. Was a post-war design that introduced many automotive firsts. Preston Tucker conceived the car in Spillanty, Michigan. I butchered that for sure. And only 51 were built in Chicago. The Tucker 48 was known for its safety features, performance, and unusual rear-mounted engine. They had a pop-out windshield, disc brakes, a padded dash, and a third central headlight that turned with the wheels, nicknamed the Cyclops Eye. It says, as of February 2024, 47 of the original 51 Tucker 48s still exist. These cars are spread out across the world in collections and museums. Some of the surviving cars on display are in museums in the United States, Japan, and Brazil.
Wow.
Some of the cars are roadworthy, but some of the others are not. It says here, a 1948 Tucker in good condition with average specs can be worth around $1.25 million.
That tells you.
The highest selling price of a 1948 Tucker 48 at auction over the last 3 years was $1.87 million. The Tucker Corporation failed due to a lack of financial planning and the SEC's determination that pre-selling car features was illegal.
It sounds like he was blackballed, but
Pretty much.
yeah. But there's a lot. If there's a lot of documentaries and movies about it, and obviously they say the big three back then were just playing hardball. They didn't really want him to come out to the market. Because disc brakes was not an option. It was drum.
Yeah, it says here that
This wasn't even invented, really.
the Tucker was 0 to 60 in about 10 seconds. Top speed was at least 120 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to the aerodynamic styling and estimated drag factor of 0.30. Factory tests showed a credible 20 miles per gallon at a steady 50 to 55 miles an hour.
Wow. Look at all these accessories, Javi. This guy had a little bit of everything.
Yeah, those are things that you'd see at the dealer.
Yeah, but the fact that he still has...
Buy the car.
Yeah, he was able to get that.
And all those moto meters and hood ornaments and radiator mascots.
This was a really, really, really amazing museum. I mean, I can't speak more highly than the... And it's funny because if I'm like this, imagine how many more automotive museums are here, or are scattered in the nation that we don't even know about. We were in California visiting Chino last year. Was it last year or the year before?
No, it was last year.
It was last year. And he goes, hey, there's a museum around the corner that you guys should check out. It's really great. And they only open like this a couple of days out of the week. So imagine what we missed. And it was a private collection just like this.
Yeah.
This was great. And all these dealer options and these engines. He had a Tucker. He also had a Tucker engine on display.
Yeah.
A cutout. So it was a dealer cutout.
Mm-hmm.
Those are rare to find.
Yep.
So here's the mechanic. Oh, zoomed in. There we go. So I asked him, hey, can I take a picture with you? Because I was so impressed of how genuine, how nice he was. Yeah. And I have to respect him because he was just a world of knowledge on these cars.
It's funny how he was like, yeah, this car, it was owned by this guy, then it was restored by this guy, then it was owned by that guy. Like, he has such a good memory of all the cars in the museum. It's incredible.
Everything it's just him and another gentleman that touch every car. And then he says, hey, when some cars have to get ready for a show, he goes, I got to make sure they're roadworthy. And he goes through it because I asked him, hey, if you're working on these early 1900 cars, where do you get schematics or instructions or anything? He goes, well, I'll call around, and if someone has it, they maybe have some notes. Right. But he says some stuff is just figuring out. He goes, they're not that hard. And he was referring to cars as circuits. He was like, some cars have 3 circuits. Some cars have 4 circuits, 6 circuits. And then I was like, I didn't understand that, but I think now I understand what he means by circuits. It's how many things have to go through something else to kind of get it to work.
So what's important in these early cars is this world is so diverse in the old car scene and the brass era cars and everything. It's very important to know as many people as you can in that hobby, because if you don't know and they don't know, they might know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows, and that's why they go to Hershey, and that's why they're members of the AACA.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's important
Well,
to
look.
network with that type of group of people.
So, I'm gonna. Okay. So I found a video on YouTube, right? The same platform we're on, of a guy talking about he needed the cable for his '68 Caprice station wagon, and he made it from scratch from a picture and all that. So I messaged him. I said, "Hey, I'm having issues with my stuff." Send him a message on. I think I found them on Facebook. Send them a message. Hey, I saw your video on YouTube. And this and this and that. I have a '68 Caprice.
Right.
He decides to say, "Oh, I'll send you the cable." Go, hey, well, how much do I owe you? He sends me the cable and everything I need to make the cable. He says, "No, it's on the house. As long as you can keep these beauties on the road."
Exactly.
So I do believe there is a big circle within each subculture. You know, we talked about model cars. Now we're talking about brass era cars. They're all automotive related, but there's subcultures to this. And you know a bunch of guys in the lowrider bikes scene. I'm sure if you make a phone call and you say Danny in Texas, hey, I need this or that, I'm sure he can help you out with it. It's just great to see. Especially, I thought I was driving an old car. My Pontiac is 75 years old.
Yeah.
These cars are 100-something years old. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And he runs. He has one that he drives all over the place.
Yeah. And it's crazy that they run, but he works on them.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys keeping it up. And he's not an 80, 90-year-old man like usually you see at these type of museums.
30.
He's in his mid-30s.
Yeah, I think 32, 36, something around that range.
He went to, I think, the McPherson College, which has a world-renowned automotive restoration program.
Yeah, you were telling me about it. You know, we work with a lot of technical schools. We donate paint and products, but you mentioned that one. I was like, what's so special about them?
I mean, they do Concord quality cars there.
That's crazy. I didn't even think there was a technical college. And they're based in Michigan?
I'm not sure where they're based, but most likely.
Okay. There's so much automotive history.
But they'll teach you, like, start to finish. You're machining parts for the car. You're upholstering the car. You're prepping for chrome. Like, they don't chrome there, I think, but they do everything there. Like, they teach you the ins and outs of everything as far as restoring an early car.
That's awesome, dude. That's crazy. I mean, what else do we have? I mean, that I can't
No
even
words.
Yeah, I can't tell you more. If you guys are in Michigan
On a Tuesday
on a Tuesday,
or on the first Saturday of the month, you need to check out the Stahls Automotive Museum.
yeah, and like, subscribe, and follow. I think
And share with your buddies.
this is a wrap for this one, guys. Much love.